Hello and welcome to Fiber Town. I'm Emily and this is Alice. I am Chain of Fools and Fiber Town everywhere online, and this is episode 28, so glad you could join us. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is 72 degrees about. There's a lovely breeze and amazing clouds and a blue sky and a gorgeous pretty girl right here. Go lay down? Alright, so she's going to say goodbye for now. And hey, it is August 14th, 2013, and I am glad to be here talking to you guys. Thank you for coming and sitting and having a cup of whatever, and you're knitting or crocheting or weaving, and joining me for a short show today. Not a lot going on. I've got a show and tell, got whips, got spinning, got just other chitter chatter, and that's about it. And yes, I don't have anything for you, my dear. Bye-bye. So, two welcomes today. We have Knitting Rosarian, who is Martine from near San Francisco, and she has rose bushes. Like, I think she said 150. So, excellent. I bet she has a lovely, lovely smelling garden. And we also have Snoozanne, who is Suzanne from Tennessee, and she has the cutest dog nose rabbitар that I love. And I think she said she has 7 dogs. So hey, and they're all short-haired, which is too bad because she's starting to spin. Do any of you spin your dog hair? It'd be kind of fun. Anyway, I want to show you my show and tell. This is the Brickless, and it has recovered from its almost fatal flaws I told you about last week, and it was just user error on my part. Nothing wrong with the pattern. I was reading the pattern and interpreting it strangely. At one point it says to do 9 rows of a certain pattern, of the net lace, I believe, and I was interpreting that to mean 9 columns. So my Brickless may not be spot on following the pattern, but it's pretty close. And it took me so many starts to get it right, but it's done. I just now bound off, and I love it. So here she is. No ends are woven in. And it's quite long. There's the beginning. You can see this is out of Handspun, and this is from Into the World in Rambouillet, combed top, and it's the Arrakis colorway. I don't know what Arrakis references, but it was fun to knit once I got going, and I really enjoyed it. So that's the beginning. This is the end. I didn't have enough to do a full net lace repeat at the end. I just did a few rows. And this is what I had left of my Handspun. So I'm super happy. I used pretty much everything. And this was a 2-ply, and I love it. It just felt so good in my hands when I was knitting it. It's so squishy. And every different stitch pattern feels different. This is the net lace, and then there's garter, and then there's rib. And then increases. That's all there is to this one. So I had this around my back and around my shoulders and tied in the back. And I can't wait to see what it's like when it's blocked. That's the wrong side. And it's going to be even better. So this was a 2-ply, and what I did is I split it vertically all the way down the braid. And what happened was I got mostly the colors matched up. Blues, this very pale yellow. I don't know how to describe this color. It's like a burgundy red brown. But at some places I did get barber pulling. You can see in this area here. And I really like that kind of 2-ply where you get these solid colors, but then every once in a while, like right here, you get a nice mixture of colors as they transition and a little barber pole. See if I have any blue and yellow. The blue and yellow barber pole is lovely. Yes, here we go. Well, it looks like I knit some of my hair into there too. That's some blue and yellow barber pole right there. So that is Brickless. I will weave in the ends and see how much it grows. I think that Rambouillet is like my desert island fiber. If I could only spin Rambouillet Not that I just want there to be like a monoculture of Rambouillet in the world, but if I could only spin Rambouillet, I would be a happy woman. I love it. I love spinning it. I love the squish. It's just great stuff. So I'm very interested to see how it behaves when I block it. Okay, so yay, that is a win. Now, I have an UGG, as they say on Ravelry. And this is really too bad. But it's not the end of the world. So, Vicky of the Heartland Knits podcast, do you all watch her? No? You should, because she's awesome. And I love her podcast. She's super knowledgeable, knits amazing stuff, spins amazing stuff, does amazing stuff. She's just amazing. Anyway, she's doing a charity mitten drive. She lives in Wisconsin. She lives in Wisconsin, and it gets cold there, you know? And she is collecting felted mittens for a homeless shelter. And they need to be felted because it's so cold in Wisconsin. You need that extra warmth. And they're for men. So I went on Ravelry, like you do, and I found the Norwegian mittens pattern, and I cast on. Now, it called for air and weight, held single. And I had this stuff. It's like a light worsted. And I was like, I'll hold that double. It'll be a big mitten. No big deal. It'll felt. I'm not telling you the designer and the actual name of the mitten pattern, because I don't know if it was the pattern or me, because lately my head's not screwed on tight. Okay. I think that yarn is a universal yarn, just pure wool. Hi. Okay, so the mitten itself, it's not that bad, but it's too tight in here to fit a man's hand. It's funky on the top. I didn't bother blocking it because there was one obvious flaw. This thumb. Maybe it would fit an alien with some terribly misshapen thumb. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. It is, however, a pretty good oven mitt. I just made my tea, and I use this to take the teapot off the stove. I'm gonna need a different pattern. I'm not giving up, Vicky. Go check out her podcast, because if you knit and send in felted mittens, she's got great prizes. I want one of her prizes. I think it's like a skein of Wool-Miza and a set of interchangeable needles. It's awesome. So anyway, that is my UGG for the week. Need to find a new, but if you know the good felted mitten pattern, do let me know. Okay, I've got another one. Megan Williams of the Stockinette Zombies podcast, who has just run it, has teamed up with Rista 1313, I believe, and who is the maker of Girl Cave bags. Is that right? I think. And taken this sort of vintagey pattern that was in Rista's family, and Megan made it seamless, and they're called the Seamless Salomas slippers. And when they knit up, they look like this, like a little funky envelope. And this is leftover Malabrigo Rios. Don't remember the colorway. Maybe Purpuras? And you're like, that's a slipper? That's a slipper? That's not a slipper. Okay, it is. So this part here is it's due to Judy's Magic cast on, which is new for me. I can't believe I've never done it, but I'm totally going to do it again. So that part right here with the point is the front. And this rib stretches like crazy. And it becomes your slipper. So, for the first time on the Fibertown podcast, I'm going to stick my feet in the camera. There we go. It's not so bad. These are for my granny, my grandmother. She is 80-something and beautiful, and I went to see her on Monday. I forgot her slippers. So, I'll be mailing them. So yeah, they're super fun and easy and good for scraps. I think each one was maybe 25 or 30 grams, an ounce and a quarter, I believe. So they're great for leftovers and in worsted. So yay! What else do I have? how about I show you my whips? I have been on just a reckless casting on streak here. But as I'm writing down my show notes, it's not all that bad. So, I have the Annis out of the Meduseld 2-ply Romney lace weight. And I am in the middle of a row, which is unfortunate. It's a Knoop row, starting the Knoops. And if you've never done a Knoop, it's spelled N-U-P-P, and yes, it is pronounced Knoop, like soup. And I haven't touched this since I got going on my brick list, but a Knoop is when you increase a lot of stitches into one stitch on a knit row. Like in this case, it's 7 stitches. You knit one, yarn over, knit one, yarn over, knit one, yarn over, all into the same stitch. And then on the purl row, you purl those 7 stitches together. And you get, I don't know if you can see that one. This is the Knoop. You get a bobbly thing. And it's very common in Estonian knitting. There's another Knoop. They really pop out when you do block it, but I think this yarn is going to work with this pattern. I'm getting the points already, and it's very loose lace, so I think I will go down a needle size when I start the stockinette portion, but it's just really pretty. And yes, I have a million stitch markers because I just don't want to have to count my stitches. I just want a stitch marker between each repeat. Whatever works. So I'm using size 7 needles, and these are the square collage square needles. And I like them okay. Not my favorite, but I do like them. So I should have more to show on this in the next coming weeks. It's going in my little Matryoshka doll bag from my sewing binge of last week. Okay, my other work in progress is in this bag with some shoelaces that are left over as drawstring. Okay, this is the Milo. And I'm going to stop on the Milo because I need to try it on the wee baby that it's going to. I'm knitting this is Milo by Georgie Hallam, and I am knitting the 1-year size. And I'm knitting it on size 5s. Are these size 5s? Nope, size 6s. Chow Goose say what size they are. And I'm knitting this out of Socks That Rock Heavyweight in the Ciruela colorway. So the Milo is a little top, but in this case I want it to be tunic length or even dress length. And then my little darling girl, not mine, but she's darling, she will grow into it. Now this pattern gives you 4 or 5 cable options, and I chose the XO one. See, little hugs and kisses. And I've gotten to almost to the point where I need to start doing the garter edging, but I want to go longer and I want to see how much longer. So I'm going to see this little girl in the next few days, and then I will finish this one off. This is a very fast knit. I highly super duper recommend it. The pattern's fantastic, and it's like knitting magic, because the way these shoulder straps are formed is like knitting magic. Remember I was saying last week that I read the pattern and I didn't really understand how it worked? It's awesome. Isn't knitting fun? So yes, magical knitting. The Milo. I'm going to knit another one of these in hand spun as soon as I can. And that will go to my friend's little girl in Germany. And speaking of my friend in Germany, I got her this yarn at Fiberspace. She asked me to go out and pick some up, and I got her some Freya hand paints. Freya fine hand paints. This is in the Vertigo colorway. It's an ombre yarn. So it's not a gradient, I guess it's a progressive. Goes from color to color. And this is 322 yards. I also picked myself up a set of my favorite DPNs. Carbons, 1.5s, Knitter's Pride. I love these. So I'm going to cast on the seaweed socks in the next few weeks, and I'm going to do it 2 at a time on 2 different sets of needles. See how that works for me. Now, I got off topic because I do have one other whip. And it is very recently started. And it is from, teeny tiny Mochi Mochi book. This is for my boy for his birthday. I'm whispering now so he doesn't hear me. It's this little hot dog. And it's all out of fingering, and I really struggled finding hot dog colored fingering yarn and bun colored. So I have some hand spun. This is the camel, spindle spun, camel down. And I just have a wee bit left, so it'll be perfect. I've started one little side of the hot dog bun. That's all I got. I've just been driven to knit other things, so that hasn't gotten much love. Neither has my Old Town, but it will come back. I can sense the end of summer approaching, and I'll want to wear that because it's awesome. So I'll need to finish it. Okay, that's it for show and tell and whips. Let me show you my spinning. Not a ton happening. However, I do have the bobbin I meant to show you all last week. And this is Dragonfly Fibers. It's Polworth. And Country Fair colorway. This is one bobbin. Let me show you. Now what's missing, which you can't see, it's not super thin. What's missing is the gold part. You can just see the sort of a rusty orange and the purple. So this is just going to be a straight up 2-ply. And the other one, the other bobbin is started already. And maybe now that I've finished the brickless, I'll feel like spinning a wee bit more. We'll see. This is good spinning weather out on the porch. Alrighty. Now, I have my Finn fleece all washed. It's not prepped. I want combs, but I want cheap combs. So I'm thinking I might put an ad in the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival board. See if anyone wants to destash combs under $75. Because man, you can spend a bundle on combs. And everyone says you should comb Finn fiber. I'd like to try, but I don't want to spend the big bucks. So I do have a drum carder. And I've been inspired with all this Rolag Puni stuff in the air. Hang on. What's up? Is it an emergency? I can't hear you. Louder.
I'm still hungry.
You're still hungry? There are peaches in the fridge. I'll be done in 5 minutes and I'll come and help you. There are pretzels in the pantry too. End of summer is going to be awesome. Oh. My husband's a teacher and he's going back to work next week. Early. So, anyway. I was inspired to try making Rolags, Puni style Rolags, let me call them, on my drum carder. So I have sort of a progression of my technique, I guess you could call it. It's the first one. Definitely more of a Rolog. Very fuzzy, very loose, very lumpy. And then I got this one. A little tighter. Still misshapen. Whoa. It's got a lump in the middle. Then I started getting better. The Puni mustache. This is the Santa Claus one. And this one is real shiny. And that might be fun to spin. So I might try to prepare my Finn fleece like that. And I have a little face right here above my camera. A little face that was told not to bother me while I was podcasting unless it was an emergency.
Mama.
Yes. Sorry, hang on. If I stop the camera, I'll have to, it's a mess. So what is it? Quick, quick. Okay, can you give me 4 minutes? I told you some things you could eat. If you want, you can get a handful of the blueberries too, but save me the rest for my muffins.
I'm not going to have a muffin, so...
You need to let me be. You can have some of the blueberries. Go. Hey, there's a tomato in there too. He's like the dog. He eats tomatoes nonstop. Okay. It's really all I've got, you guys. Let's see. So, the cooler weather has me thinking about all that alpaca I spun during the Tour de Fleece. And I think I showed this before, but I'm going to show it again. Pine Forest Baby Blanket. I think that's what I'm going to do out of my alpaca. Do I have anything else to show you guys? Getting ready to do my consigning. You know, I do, that's how I fund some of my fiber festivals, is I clean out the house and I do a consignment shop twice a year. So I'm doing that for Shenandoah Valley, which is the last weekend of September. There's talk of a podcaster meetup, so if you're interested, go over and take a look on the Shenandoah Valley Fiber Festival Ravelry Forum. I started a thread there just to get some input about where and when would be a good time to meet. And just some fantastic people coming and some fantastic vendors, such as, I'm looking at the list right now on the website, Dragonfly Fibers, Meduseld, which sadly, Meduseld's maple harvest was very low this year. To do a good maple harvest, you need warm days and cold nights, and we just had a very cold winter, so they don't have a lot of maple syrup this year. There's Shalimar yarns going to be there. Well, that's through Oasis Yarns, but they sell Shalimar. Reflections at Rocklands. Two Rivers Yarn Store is going to be there, and I really like that yarn store. Rose Spring Farm, I love her soap. The Spanish Peacock, the Verdant Griffin, and Gourmet Stash. Wild Hair Fiber Studio, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's tons of good stuff, and it's such a fun festival. They serve great barbecue, they have great cobbler, so I'm gearing up for that. Decided not to go to Spin Quest. I'll just be going to Shenandoah Valley. So, I guess I'm going to say, see you next week. Alice is napping in the other chair. I'm almost done with my tea. So until next week, have a fantastic time with all your crafting, and take care. Bye-bye.